Hello, everybody, and welcome to 2023. This is Georgia Rose from Zencuda. Welcome to the Soul Space. I'm going to be with you for about an hour, and we're going to talk about all kinds of great stuff, astrology, and maybe pull some tarot cards, and all kinds of spiritual wisdom. You can call into the show anytime you want. We'll put that number on the screen in a bit. And you can also live comment. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, I will be reading your comments for sure. And I'm so happy to be back in the studio. I took a little hiatus over the holiday, which was really much needed and wonderful. But I have to say that I missed you guys. I really did. I missed being on the show and doing all my stuff. So hopefully I'll get some of you on board tonight. And I'm going to give you all a little bit of time to actually come in and, pile into the old soul space. I want to hear all about your Christmases and holidays that you had, your Hanukkahs and whatever other holiday that you celebrated and some of the things that happened. And I definitely want to hear about your New Year's Eve because I know that the energy was changing on New Year's Eve. And I really want to hear about, how you guys did. I know around the stroke of midnight, it was actually really getting very intense in a lot of people's lives. So I heard some stories already, so I'd love to hear your stories. So going to talk a lot about the energy coming in for the new year. We have a fabulous year, 2023, coming in. And I have to tell you that it's really going to give us a lot of opportunity. I think that we're going to really like this 2023 if we play our cards right and use the energy the way it's supposed to be used. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I am just going to keep sharing the show. I want to make sure that if you're out there and you could share the show, that would be absolutely wonderful. Going to try and get as many viewers as we can. We need to spread our light and enlighten everybody in the world. So I see I've got Marilyn on and Christine. Hello. Happy New Year. Anne, Happy New Year. Monica, Happy New Year. Just loving everybody piling into the soul space and seeing you all on board. So I had a really quiet holiday, but nice. It seemed hectic but quiet. Like I really didn't do anything too loud and too party-like, too people-y, but it seemed like it was still very hectic and busy. I think that was just the energy. Also felt a little detached. I don't know if you all felt that way. But we had 5 planets in Capricorn all during Christmas week and the few days after. And so Capricorn is an energy that can make us very detached. So it might have been that you couldn't really get that Christmas spirit, even though things were warm and delightful. You just didn't get that magic, right? That's how I felt. And I have to be honest, this year was a year when I took my decorations down a little bit early. I was raring to get into 2023 and really feel the energy of what I wanted to accomplish this year. So this year, we are going to have a lot of energy shifts, and they start out very slowly, and then once we get to March, things just completely, really hit high gear, and we start to really explode with energy and explode with a lot of fast-moving things. So my advice to everyone out there listening is this. It's simply put, and it's very serious, and that is tie up all of your loose ends. And by that, I mean anything that you've been going round robin with or becoming frustrated with since September, October, November, this past month, because that's when Mars went retrograde. And Mars retrograde has really been screwing us up and trying to get things done. So now the energy is going to slowly start to move forward because Mars will come out of its retrograde period on January 12th. Now, it's still going to really be stagnated in the sky and move very, very slow. So you're not going to feel like a go-go energy or you're not going to feel an ignition energy. That will come actually later in the year in March when we have a few other energy shifts happening. But right now, get those loose ends tied up because slowly but surely, the gears are going to start to click and go into place. So don't get frustrated about the things that just aren't working. We have Mercury retrograde now as well. And Mercury and Mars are talking to each other, and it's like they just can't connect because they're both retrograde. Don't forget, Mercury is the way we think. Mars is our gas, our power, our ambition. So we're kind of missing the mark right now. It's like, trying to catch that pop fly in the baseball and it just comes, your mitt can't find it, it just misses you, or trying to shoot that basketball and it keeps missing the hoop. So don't be frustrated. That's just the energy now. The reason why it's happening is so that we can go back to the drawing board, do things a little differently, come up with some new ideas, and have some new perceptions. Because if there's one thing that 2023 is about, it is really a year where our perceptions are going to be changed. We have some planetary shifts that haven't happened in 20, 30 years. And we also have the planets aligning in places they haven't been in hundreds and hundreds of years. So we're going to get a lot of new energy in. Now, that doesn't mean that the timelines that were brought in by that great conjunction of 2020 are going to disappear. The epidemics, the political unrest, the social unrest, the persecution type things that are going on, the warlike energy, that is going to stay with us. But the way that we deal with it and the perceptions that we have for it are going to change. A lot of things are going to be revealed about the whys and the wheres of how things happened these last 3 years and beyond. So really, you want to look at that. You want to live in the pause a little bit this year. Don't be so quick to, be frustrated with things that aren't going right, and take time out for yourself, because the underlying theme of the year is really getting into our personal authority, stepping into that sovereignty, that real power over ourselves. And we're going to have a lot of choices to make in regards to that. And I'll get to that in detail in a minute. But for now, I just want to tell you, choices are going to come up. They're going to come up especially now, very slowly. And then once March hits, you're going to see boom, boom, boom. It's like a power storm. Things really start to change. Now, why does that happen? Well, first of all, we have Pluto, which has been in Capricorn since 2008, is going to be going into the sign of Aquarius in March. Now, it does retrograde back into Capricorn for a little bit, but it's egressing into Aquarius. It's going to completely change the energy. In Capricorn, Pluto was there to break down all of our structures, and boy, did it, right? There's so many things that maybe if you think back to 2008, you believed in, you put your faith in, governments and religions and people and communities and all kinds of social structures, even to the point of the way that we actually thought about healing and medicine, right? And now, here we are in 2023, Pluto is changing signs, and the way that we look at those things is absolutely transformed from all the time it was in Capricorn and all those structures that it just debilitated and took down and crumbled for us, so that we can now build them new again in Aquarius. Aquarius energy is an energy of technology, space travel. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next decade we see a lot of things with galactic energy, alien energy. I've been watching this show on Netflix called Ancient Apocalypse, and it's a really amazing show about, beings and dynasties that were before humans and maybe lived here on Earth. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that come into the forefront. That's Aquarian energy. It's very futuristic. So Pluto is the planet that destroys things in order to rebuild. Pluto is something that has to die to be transformed. And you can think about how it's affected you personally since 2008. How has your life changed? What had to crumble in your life so that you were able to resurrect and rebuild and rebirth something? Really, really personal and also global. So now that the planet goes into Aquarius come March, and it's finishing up in Capricorn, it's tying up those loose ends. So maybe some of those themes that you've had since 2008 are going to really come into the forefront, because now you're really tying them up. And so really look at those things, take that pause, make the changes you have to make, because it's going to be your last chance. Once Pluto goes into Aquarius, it's going to start to crumble certain things around themes such as science, technology, things like that. But Aquarian energy with those things is going to actually make it more of a discovery type energy. I wouldn't be surprised. We've already seen announcements about more space travel. That's going to really be in the forefront. Different ways that we're going to heal is going to be in the forefront. Maybe healing with technology, planting microchips is going to be very, very prominent in the next few years. And we're going to have some choices to make about those things. Whereas some of these things where they plant microchips in the brain to help people who can't walk now become mobile and things like that might seem noble. But there are also things that are happening right now in Earth where, for instance, there are certain parts of the globe, I believe it's Finland, where you can actually have a microchip placed in your wrist so that when you go through public transit, you just get scanned and you don't have to pay or have coin. There's a lot of things like that that's actually happening now in the world and a reality. There are certain corporations that are microchipping their employees in order to scan them when they come into work and when they leave work, like a traditional time clock used to do. So we're seeing these things actually take place in reality. And the dark side of Pluto, Pluto in Aquarius and Saturn in Aquarius, is going to be, death by technology. How much of those things are really, going to make us dehumanized? and almost kill the humanity that we have. So these are really big choices that are going to be coming up in the next 20 years. We're going to see them start to play out, very locally and globally, but gradually in our lives. So how much humanness are you willing to give up for technology? How much time do you spend on your cell phone? How much time do you spend on the internet? How does the internet play into your life? And what are you willing to give up as far as your humanness in order to have some modern day conveniences? These are the type of choices that we're really, really going to be facing now and in the years to come. So it'll be really interesting to see how that happens. So Pluto's going to finish up everything that it did in Capricorn. We also have the Sun in the last degrees of Capricorn, this, right around the teens, January 18th, 19th, and that's going to hit that Pluto. And when it does, it will illuminate a lot of the darkness that Pluto created. So expect around the 18th and 19th of January to have revelations come out and truths come out like you have never seen. So that's definitely a great time to, if you have anything that you want illuminated, set that intention. So this is a very dynamic year. It's a very dynamic year for energy, and it's a dynamic year to move us into the future. So I'm really excited about that. Now, when we talk about moving into the future, you have to know that whatever is currently going on in your life is going to be moved into the future. So think about that. Are the things that you have really going on in your life and your reality things you want to move into the future? Or are there some things that you got to cut those apron cords, cut those ties, cut those psychic bonds, those soul space bonds in order to bring more things that are good into your life in the future? So this is going to be some choices that we have to make, and they're going to be pretty broad. Mars turns direct January 12th, which will stop and alleviate some of that energy that we've been feeling on the frustration of things not working. With Mercury and Mars both retrograde right now, it is really a time when you're going to have a lot of glitches, a lot of do-overs, travel delays. Wherever Capricorn is in your chart, expect that house to be really affected. Venus is also goes retrograde this year at the end of July until September, and that's going to be a time when, our love lives are going to have a little bit of wonkiness. So if you have anything going on in your love life now, make it as smooth and as strengthen that foundation as much as you can, because it's going to be a summer of a lot of turbulence for people's love lives. Saturn goes into Pisces in March, and that's going to really change energy, because Saturn in Pisces is going to really put limitations on a lot of our connections. But it's also a great time to work on anything that is spiritual for you, any kind of connection to spirituality that you have, connection to other realms, things like that. So when Saturn goes into Pisces in March, it's going to really start off a whole new era of energy. And then Pluto goes into Aquarius in March, and that really, really changes the energy. It will retrograde back to Capricorn for a short period of time come June, but it's really, going to be a glimpse of and a foretelling of what this year is going to be. There's going to be a mid-year activation on the nodes of the moon because they change. They go, actually, the North Node is going into Aries. So expect that you are going to feel a lot of pulsating, a lot of energy around that middle of the year. Things really change then. We've got some ignitions happening in March when Pluto and Saturn move into different signs. And then come that middle point of the year, June and July, the nodes move, and that really changes the way everything feels for us. You're going to feel that shift. It's going to be more of a movement shift instead of a steady, stabilizing shift. In Aries and Libra, the nodes want to move. It'll also be bring up themes of diplomacy, themes of partnership versus partnership with self. What do I want? But how do I relate in relationships to people? How does what I want relate to others? Those are going to be the themes that'll play out for 18 months, starting in the middle of this year. Overall, if I had to say what the theme of 2023 is going to be for all of us, and just widely all of this aspecting in one way, I would like to use the word co-creation. And for those of you who don't really understand or haven't ever really sat down and really thought about what that means, co-creation, I'm going to go into a little bit of explanation because it's really important, because this is what the universe wants from us this year. When we talk about co-creation, it's really fitting for the Zencuda community and Zencuda's media, because Zencuda is a community and media that supports and promotes you to create your best life, create your ideal life. And we're here to support you to do that spiritually, through astrology, through spiritual wisdom, through tarot, through communication with the other realms. I believe that's how we co-create our life. We're not the captain of our ship. We're the captain of our ship with a higher power. Whatever that is for you, God, angels, alien energy, star seeds, the earth, whatever is the higher power that you go to is the energy that you use to create your life based on your desires, your soul alignment with those desires, etc. So, for example, how many times when you've want to accomplish something in your life have you stopped to say a sort of prayer or set an intention or just please, please, please let this happen? Well, who are you talking to? A higher power, an energy that you're co-creating that experience with. That's what co-creation is about. Creating your life in unison, in alignment with something higher than yourself. So this year is a year that co-creation is going to be off the charts. The way that we want to manifest our life is going to be so prevalent and so much more able to be contacted. You know, we can reach out and feel it. We can dream it into reality more than ever before. And so this is a year, when you think about it, when we can really get free. Because how many restrictions have we had? How much anxiety do we have over being controlled, over not being our own authority, over not being sovereign in our own life? You know, are we sitting on our own throne, or is someone else determining our fate? And so this year is all about co-creation with a higher power and stopping the anxiety and the releases that we give, the power that we give over to other people, other situations, and other things in our life that are determining our fate. Whether that's a job that you're enslaved in, or a relationship that you are letting determine everything in your life, whether it's a fear of something. This is the year where we have the power to really break free from those things. And I think of it as getting free in 23. And so a lot of our anxiety, we have the power to alleviate if we step into our own co-creation and power. And when we do that, we think about the choices that we have to make. Like we were just talking about the choice between how much humanness are we willing to give up and how much technology are we willing to let in our lives. That's a big choice, right? You know, even if you have children, are you allowing their cell phones at the dinner table? Choice. Are my kids going to be human, or are they going to be slaves to technology, right? Everything we do is a choice that creates more of our life. So when we co-create, it's about choice. We have a choice to co-create joy and happiness and really great things and be productive, or we have a choice to stay in our wounds, talk about our past, all these last 3 years that have been so challenging, COVID and people in the White House and all these things. We can sit and we can talk about that ad nauseum. That's not going to help us create the ideal life that we want. We have to go into the future, which is what this year is all about, and we have to co-create that future with our higher power. And that's where the Zenkuda community comes in, because we're here to support you with that. Because every choice you make creates more of your life. And your life isn't going to be mine, and mine isn't going to be yours, but we can support each other, and everyone in the community can support each other to find what really aligns with you, find that soul purpose, find why you're here through spiritual wisdom, through tarot, through, you know, listening to the voice that is the planets and what the energy is and the best way to use it and allowing it to guide us home to our soul space. So that's what it's all about, to tune in to this show every Monday. And we're going to have fun, and we're going to do a lot of things. But basically, what Zenkuda is, in a nutshell, is co-creating your life with the guidance of the stars, the planets, and the intuition that you know you have by connecting with the source that created you and your higher power. So let's co-create together this year. Let's get free in 2023. We are on the threshold of a lot of really important choices, and they're yours to make. No one can make them for you. No situation can push you into them. Nothing can make those choices except for you, as soon as you understand and take back your power to do so. And that is what getting free in 23 is all about. So collective freedoms, choices, let's get it going. And the last thing I want to say about this, and I'll go to some cards, is, and I'm going to read the comments, is, and this is really important. Think about this phrase as a mantra. Treasure in triggers. Treasure in triggers. What do I mean? We're all triggered, right? Throughout the day, we get triggered. Maybe we're trying to do a project and something's not working and we're triggered into frustration. And then maybe we start to get triggered into feeling defeated. And then we spiral from there. Well, there's a treasure in that trigger. Maybe the treasure in that trigger is, I'm better than this. I don't need to get frustrated. I'm smart enough to figure this out. I don't need to get frustrated. I have resources. I know what I can do, right? So we have triggers all day long. Somebody says something to us. Somebody pops off at us. Somebody sends that nasty email and we're like, wow. And our whole day can get blown by that trigger. Unless we go into the treasure in the trigger. Why am I being shown this? Why is this happening? Where is it supposed to bring me? It's supposed to bring me to bring you to your choice. Where is the trigger supposed to bring you to your choice? And that choice is a huge crossroads in I'm going to co-create my life to be ideal, or I'm going to get stuck in this trigger. So find the treasure in the trigger to get free in 23. All right. We're going to have a lot of anxiety in 2023. I'm sorry to say that's not going to go away. I know we've had a lot of anxiety these last 3 years about a lot of global situations. That's not going to go away. But the good news is we have a choice this year, and the universe is going to show us that we can battle anxiety if we put faith in ourselves. And again, go back to that sovereignty, go back to, knowing that we have the power to choose the right choices for ourselves, not be influenced, not be swayed, not be pushed around, not be held down, not be brainwashed into thinking we're not powerful enough to do it. So when you're feeling that anxiety, try and again, find the treasure in that trigger. Why am I feeling this way? What does the universe really want from me? What is my higher power, God, angels, whatever you believe in? Why are they making me feel this way? I know it's not for a bad thing. It's because they want me to look at something to give me more strength. And the proof of that is if you think back to every challenge you've ever had, when you ran away from it and you ran away from it and you denied it and you distracted yourself from it, you had a lot more anxiety than when you confronted it head on and did something about it. So we're at that threshold, a crossroads where you've got to make your choices and you've got to start creating your ideal life in co-creation with your higher power. And we're all here to help you all do it. So let's get it done. Let's be industrious this year and really find where our true power is and make those choices to co-create. All right, so I'm going to go to comments now. I want to see what you guys have to say if I didn't lose you all. Sometimes I do go on, don't I, people? Okay, we've got Joanne on. I've got a lot of people on tonight. This is great. Okay, let me see my comments. Looking for my comments. Okay. Here they are. Got Aaron on and Monica. Hey, everybody. Hi there. Hello. Good evening. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Sending hearts up to all you guys with your New Year's resolutions and things. I'd love to hear some of your resolutions. I might be able to give you some tips on really how to make them happen. I'm here to do that. Working with myself on some things now, too. Okay. Yeah, Christine took her decorations down early. It was just that type of year. And usually I'm not like that. Usually I like to squeeze every last bit out of the holiday season. I'm like a kid that way. But this year I was like, get this tree out. It was actually, I felt like a heaviness from it. It was like it was depressing me. It was the weirdest feeling. But I think it was because I have a lot of planets in Capricorn. There were a lot of planets in Capricorn. Yes, Aaron, Jupiter is going into Aries. It's actually already in Aries. And you'll be feeling that, I know, because you have a lot of Aryan energy. So my advice to you, Aaron, is you're going to really want to do a lot of physical exercise. Burn that Aryan energy out in a really healthy way. It's a great time for you to go on a fitness plan because you need to expel adrenaline. All right. Don't know what Monica's not thrilled with, but we'll find out. Get free in 23, baby. That's right, Michelle. That's your mantra. And there's treasure in the triggers. There's treasure in the triggers. Okay, Marilyn, I had to release a very toxic, drama-ridden love relationship. It was hard after 4.5 years, but I feel so much lighter and free. I know going into 23, I have to be around higher vibration relationships and friends. Well, we are here, Marilyn, for you to give you some high vibe, and I hope that helps you. Everybody send some hearts and some smiles out to Marilyn tonight. Let her know that she is not alone and she is supported. And the one thing I want to say to you, Marilyn, is really want to give you, kudos, and I'm really proud of you because it is so hard for us to leave those relationships. They always have patterns, and they're always, I think, about a lot of inner child work, and that's so hard to do because, when that inner child takes over, man. The other theme for 2023 is parent yourself. And I'm really working on that one now because I feel like so many times when things happen, my go-to is like the inner child. And I've worked on that so much, but you always have a little much bit left, right? So now whenever I find myself, with those triggers, the treasure is I become the adult and I say, you know what? There's treasure in the trigger. I'm not going to be little Georgia. I'm going to be who I am now. So free in 23, Aaron, definitely. Janine, absolutely true. Um, Oh, not thrilled about people being chipped. Yeah, I know. That's a little scary. I think that as we have planets going into Aquarius and as we have Pluto in Aquarius, I think we're going to see a lot of that. It almost sounds like some kind of a horror movie at times, and I don't want to be negative about it, but I think we are going to see a lot of really hard choices come in with technology and the internet. Saturn is also very limiting, so we might actually see more limitations come in with social media and the internet, which would not be a bad thing. But then, of course, you always have the arguments over censorship. So, things to really, going to be interesting time to watch and see how this unfolds in the world. But one of the things, and I was talking to a very good friend of mine about this over the weekend, we were talking about how we really try to live with as little technology as possible. Now, obviously, that's hard because we all live in this world where we rely on technology like this show and other things. But I am now really making my expectations a little more realistic. For instance, when I post something on Facebook, a lot of my posts don't seem to get a lot of interaction. I think there's a lot more people looking at them than I know, and I know that to be true from word of mouth. And people always say, "Oh, I saw this," and I never knew they saw it. But what I try to do is not have an expectation that something that I put out that's very positive is going to get a lot of interaction because I know those algorithms are set up to give interaction to negative. And so even though I'm a very positive media, I'm on a very negative platform. So I have a very limited view and limited expectation about how that's going to go. It's like you're not going to find gold in the junkyard. But unfortunately, in order to survive and create the community and the good that I want to do in the world and my life work, I have to sometimes spread it around the junkyard too. So I know that it's not always going to be taken in the light that it is, and that doesn't bother me. I'm just going to shine my light brighter so that it finds the people it's supposed to find. And so that's why I always say share the show and get the word out there because it's not just about me. It's the work I do isn't about me at all. It's about really wanting to change and give the world new perspectives. And also, I hate the word influencer because I don't really want to influence anybody. I want to inspire them. There's been so many people in my lifetime that have inspired me and really made me stop and think. And like, that's what I want to do for you. And I want the guests on my show and I want you all to do it for each other in the community and the comments and the phone calls and all that. So that's why I say share it because it's not about publicizing me. It's about spreading light in the world for all of us to see that. And I think in 2022, that's the way we need to use technology because Aquarius can really bring out the dark side of technology, and that is death by technology. And by that, I mean dissolving the humanness and dissolving and denigrating the humanness that we all have to be so technical. And I think a really good everyday, modern day, daily example of that is texting and how many times you text someone and you really can't feel them through text, right? And even a phone call would be better sometimes to hear the inflection in your voice. I'm so sorry that you had this happen, or I'm so elated that this happened to you today. You could send 5,000 emojis, but it's dehumanizing. And so those are the things that I'm hoping we start making better choices about. And, one of my friends on Facebook, my friend Bobby, who was on the show, he was saying how his resolution is to be more social. And I think that's a great resolution for all of us, but maybe tweak that and say, be more social and with humanity and be more human about your social. Get together for a cup of tea, meet somebody for coffee, call them on the phone, use words, go see that person in the hospital, instead of just sending the flowers. That's what's going to change the world and keep us human as we evolve into even more dimensions, right? So, so I would love to go to some cards and pick some cards for you guys. And we're going to do that now. Okay. And if anybody else has any comments, my comments seem like they're a little stuck right now. I'm going to refresh my page. Okay. Getting free in 23. If anybody wants to call into the show, numbers on the screen, 516-945-9099. 945-9099, area code 516. So let's go to some cards. I actually had a friend of mine over on Sunday, it was yesterday, and we pulled some cards for just the energy in the world, and it was really appropriate. Some of the things that came out were exactly what we were just talking about today on the soul space. So want to also just give you guys a couple of dates to remember for January before I go to cards, because I know you guys like that. First of all, let me just read my notes here because, I had so much stuff that I wanted to go over. Okay. All right. So January 12th, we've got Mars coming out of retro. That's going to be really good. You'll feel the energy shift, but it's going to be very slow moving still to the end of the month. So, work with that. On January 6th, we've got a full moon, and this full moon is in Cancer. In what I'm going to tell you, it happens at 6:07 p.m. Eastern time on January 6th. The moon is at home in Cancer, so being full in Cancer really makes the moon happy. It's a good full moon, but it's also a full moon that is a little bit more hidden. It's a time when maybe we don't want to reveal a lot of things. We become more introverted in ourselves. The moon also transits Uranus. So that full moon on January 6th that's coming up over the weekend, I think it's Friday, that's a full moon that comes in and actually gives us a breakthrough because it is, like I said, coming in and hitting Uranus there. But it's not the breakthrough like Uranus usually gives us, like a sudden unexpected change. This is much more gentle because the moon's in its home sign. So this is almost like a wake-up call, but it's easy. It's like we suddenly see the truth about something and we know what we have to do, but it flows. It's good. So this is really a nice full moon. But I will tell you that there's going to be some tension in the releasing of exposing things. You're going to not really want to reveal things. You might not want to have conversation about heavy stuff, things like that. And that's fine. You can stay in that Cancer shell for a little while. But as I said, from the 6th up until the 9th, there's a breakthrough that occurs. Uranus comes into connection with that moon. And it's almost like an aha moment, a perception, but that helps us flow into something with more perception. The rest of the month is kind of eventful in the sense of the energy builds. We're coming into a time in the beginning of the year here in January where you're going to start to feel the energy shift, but it's slow. It's not like a boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. That happens in March. The energy's building and aligning to that, so you're going to see and feel changes and shifts, but they're a little bit slow, so don't give in to that frustration we were talking about before. Also, around the 17th and 18th, you're going to see Mercury station direct. And that's going to make you want to overdo, put too much on your plate. But it's not overwhelming. It's okay. You'll get it done. But it's going to make things start to pick up a lot more quickly. Once we get to that 18th and 19th of the month, you're going to start to see some of those frustrations wane about not being able to accomplish things. And the energy really starts to move forward, but still slow and steady forward. Around that same time, that's when the sun aligns with Pluto, and it's going to shine on the darkness that Pluto has created in Capricorn. So around that 18th and 19th of the month, that's when I wouldn't be surprised if there were some big news items that come out, things are revealed in certain issues that we've had in the forefront for a while. And then on January 20th, happy birthday to all you Aquarians. The sun moves into Aquarius, and that's when we really start to feel relief from all of this heavy Capricorn energy that we've been experiencing through the holidays, etc. And Uranus goes direct on the 22nd. And once that happens this month, Mercury goes direct on the 12th, Mars goes direct on the 18th, and Uranus finally goes direct on the 22nd. Now we have almost all the planets direct. And as we head into February, we really start to see the energy start to pick up, move very quickly. Everybody's going to start to get busy, and things really start to almost like gears start to sink in place for that big click that happens in March. So you want to start tying up those loose ends. Do all the stuff that's blocking you from living in your dream, all right? There's a significant new moon that happens on the 21st, right after the sun goes into Aquarius, and the moon goes into Aquarius, and now that's joined, and it's a new moon. That is the time to set your intentions for 2023 and the things you really want to accomplish. That new moon is going to exactly quincunx Mercury and Mars, and it is going to be a powerhouse, and that is on the 21st. So that's a significant thrust into the future, and it's really exciting. So make sure that you've made all the adjustments you need to make. Whatever you haven't adjusted will come into the forefront in that new moon on the 21st. And you want to make sure that you have resolved the things that you needed to, because that is the kickoff to really start sinking the gears. Like, think of a big, huge machine. You know, I'm a big steampunk fan. And think of like gears just starting to slowly, and then in March it all clicks into place. So you want to really get those edges softened out and really make sure that the month ends, we're completely in new territory by the end of January. So this is a month of a lot of shifts, starting out very slow. Once we hit that 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st new moon, things start to really move forward. And then February we'll talk about when we get there. But by March, guys, game change. We're in a whole new stratosphere by March of energy. Good to know, right? And the reason why I go through all this with you guys is because if you have the guidance, when you need to make choices, you're going to know how to time them and how to really live your life in alignment and co-create with that higher power. So I'm going to go to some cards really quick. Don't have a whole lot of time left, but being a new year, I really wanted to give you guys a rundown of what to expect and how to time your world, you know. If you're looking for love, do it before June to September, because when Venus goes retrograde, it's going to get rocky in love, all right? So I'm pulling a card for Ann Rothney. I'm going to pull one card and go down the list quickly as I can for you ladies and gents. Okay, Ann. You know what? I'm going to pull tonight from my angel card deck, which really gives us themes. This is going to be fun. So, Ann, I'm going to pull a card for your theme of the month. All right. Okay, Ann, your theme of the month is relax. Breathe. Everything is happening exactly as it should be. That is your message for this evening, Ann. Next up, I have Christine Camarada. What is your theme for the month, Christine? I wonder what it's going to be. Let's pull a card for your theme. I'm going to cut this deck. Focus, and let's see what your theme is. It is act. So if there's anything you've been thinking about doing, you want to start to put those gears in motion. Don't click them until March, though. Act. Charge forward. When we combine action with unwavering faith, the power of grace will meet our needs. And I was just talking about faith before and how faith is our superpower. When we're anxious, we need to go to faith. So really, something in your life wants you to take action, Christine, and that will alleviate the anxiety that you have about that situation. Marilyn, going to pull a card for your theme for this month. Let's see what your theme is going to be. Okay, Marilyn, your theme is dance. How beautiful. When we ask for guidance, take action, and put our faith in an outcome we can't yet see, we've begun to dance with grace. And a thought comes to mind for you about this. You know, I have a sign up in my house that says, how does it go? It says, be grateful for things that are already occurring. So whatever is your hope or dream, know that it is already happening, and it is happening, and have faith in that. And when you link faith with the guidance of your actions, miracles happen, right? We all know that. So next up is going to be, after Marilyn, is Michelle Allen. Let's see. What is your theme for the year, Michelle? Let's see. Okay, Michelle, you have connect. That's cool. Find your center. When we stay connected to our spiritual core, the best and most advantageous path unfolds before us. So don't stop believing is what I'm going to say to you, Michelle. Like, keep your thoughts really positive, because we connect with that. And I'm going to do a show about law of attraction. We're going to really go into law of attraction this month to set ourselves up for that energy that's coming. So definitely keep your thoughts really, really positive. Okay, Michelle? And next one, I'm going to pull a card for Aaron. Aaron, what is your theme for this year with Jupiter in Aries. And Jupiter only stays in Aries about 5 months. Usually it's there 12 months, so you really get a reprieve. It's going to be a very fast transit, so that's really cool. But when Jupiter's in Aries, guys, definitely, it's in my house and home, so things always break in my house when Jupiter's in Aries. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time. So Aaron, what is your theme? Your theme is listen. When we feel overly attached to an outcome, it's simply an indication that we need to reconnect with our wise self. So trust your intuition and trust yourself. Don't overthink things. Okay, Aaron? Next card is for Sarah. I hope you had a lovely, lovely holiday, Sarah. You deserve it. Sarah always has such a sweet energy. So let's pull a theme card for Sarah. Sarah, for you, I have vision. And on the front of this card is a beautiful eagle. So pay attention. There are signs, symbols, and messages divinely placed in our path to guide us in the right direction. And I know, Sarah, that you always get signs. So watch even more carefully and pay attention because there's signs coming for you. And envision the outcomes that you want in your life because they're on their way. All right? Next person up for a theme card is going to be Janine. Get a theme for Janine. Okay. I need a clock up, Bobby. Okay, Janine, your theme is surrender. Surrender is the key that unlocks the door to grace. So when I read this, what I feel is like sometimes we want things so much and we become obsessed with them and thinking about them so much. Just let it go and let things flow and do what you're supposed to do with your guidance, you know? Next up for a theme card is Elaine. I had a wonderful holiday, Elaine. I was thinking about you yesterday, actually. I have to give you a call because I don't know why. Your energy just came in very, very strong for me. All right. Okay. Elaine, your theme this year is going to be awaken. And I know the last 3 years you've done a lot of that. Awaken. Keep your eyes open. When we decide to live a more conscious life, we see signs of grace everywhere. So I think that you're definitely going to be having a lot of awakenings and you're going to see a lot of things that you have never seen before. So just know that is coming, sweetie. All right. Next up for a theme card is, did I do Monica? No. Monica, did I do you? I did not do you. Okay, Monica, let's get a theme going for you. Okay. Picking here, they're telling me to pick this one. It's gift. How beautiful. Grace is a gift from God. We don't need to work hard to earn it, feel worthy enough to deserve it, or surrender our needs to receive it. The gift of grace is our birthright. So if you've been wondering about something coming your way, or if you're worthy of it, or if you're doing the right thing, you absolutely are. And I take this as a sign that you are going to receive that gift of grace, and it already has happened. So try and feel that and surround yourself with the beautiful optimism and grace of God's love around you, Monica, because it's really beautiful, beautiful gift given to us. And we all have that within us and the light within us. So feel that. Next card, theme card I'm going to pull is for Joanne. Joanna Maya. All right. And Joanne, this card is for you. They're telling me to pick from the middle of the deck. And I got the surrender card for you as well. So if there's something on your mind, just let it go and know that God is working on it for you. Surrender is the key that unlocks the door to grace. So trust, have faith, right? Tonight's show, we talked a lot about that faith, using faith to alleviate our anxiety, which is such a huge thing. Okay. And Melissa, I'm going to pull a card for you. Let's see what your theme is for the month. Let go of anxiety. Let go of anxiety. Okay. Melissa, your card is direction. Look for clues. Grace will lead us to the exact events and experiences we need at precisely the right time. So if you're trying to make a decision about something, you're going to get signs about it. So don't fret. The signs are coming. All right. Who else do I need to pull a card for? I'm just looking on my... It is a good time to do a house project, Christine, but it's probably going to... Mercury's in retrograde, so whatever the project is, plan that it will take a little bit longer than you think it will. It's probably going to take a little longer. You may have some delays as far as getting things or contractors not showing up or something like that, getting your, products and things like that, you may be delayed. So just plan for that. All right. Um, Christina, I always feel angels, so I would have to actually do a reading for you to see if they were around you personally, but I think we all have angels around us. So these are my angel cards that I've had for years, and I always use them in Reiki circles. So definitely angels are surrounding us. If you're asking if I feel angels all the time. I work in angelic light, so angels, especially if anyone comes to my home, they know, oh, there's a lot of angels around my home. Michelle, stay positive because you deserve it. Just tell yourself, whenever we have trouble struggling with staying positive, get into the space of, I deserve positivity. Why am I not positive? Think about the words and the things that you would do and say to your best friend when they needed positivity and do them for yourself, right? We boost up others and we can't boost up ourselves. So talk to yourself like you're your best friend. All right. You're welcome, Sarah. I love you. I'm sending love. Yeah, Elaine, that was a great card. And it's so for you. That's like so the Pisces energy right now. You're welcome, Melissa. And I think that was everybody. So thank you so much for those of you who are sharing the show. I also have, you're welcome. Always confirmation comes, right, Monica, when we need it. I have a favor to ask of all of you. If you have not done so already, can you hop over and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Zencuda on YouTube? I'll post a link in the comments below. But if you just search Zencuda on YouTube and subscribe if you haven't already, we're trying to build that up as an alternate platform for my videos and things. There's also a lot of videos on there, and I always put the replay of the show on there. So you can always watch it, share it with friends and things like that. Let's see if we can really expand this community this year. It's going to be so beautiful to spread light in the world. It's the energy I source my life from. So thank you all for that. And also planning a lot of things for 2023. Going to try to do some in-person events and things like that. So stay tuned. I'll be back in the Soul Space next Monday at 7. We're going to talk about law of attraction, and I'm going to give you some tips on visualization and how to really make 2023 the year that you accomplish the things that you haven't been able to accomplish thus far in your life. Thank you so much for tuning into the Soul Space. You can find me on Zencuda Official on Instagram, Facebook at Zencuda Soul Space or Georgia Rose. And you can also find me on YouTube at Zencuda. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you all back in the Soul Space next Monday. But definitely watch my social media for posts and videos in between. Thanks so much. Talk to you all soon. Good night.